Well, hey friends and neighbors, this is Chuck out at Sheraton Park Farms. Welcome back to the farm. So on the farm here, we have a hybrid off-grid water system. And this is where we store our water. This is our reservoir box. It comes from a spring up in the mountain here. We're not getting the amount of water coming into this box that we would expect. We've got some kind of problem with the system somewhere. So hang out with us for a little bit. Let's see if we can find the problem, diagnose it, and then fix it so that we've got the amount of water that we need to be able to water me and Sandra and a whole bunch of animals. Stick around to the end. We're going to check the game cameras too and see if we've gotten any activity up on top of the hill. I know we have. I've got some pictures, but stick around to the end. We'll share some of those pictures with you and show you what we've been capturing on our game cameras. This is our overflow for our spring box. That's the spring box right there. And we don't have any overflow, and the box is full. Let's go upstream and see if we can figure out what's going on. So this is my sediment trap. Spring is sort of up the creek there. Reservoir box is down there with the overflow. And this is our sediment trap. So the water flows out of the spring up the holler through a black plastic pipe into this side, and then it comes out over here and goes down to the spring box. This is just an overflow. So if the barrel gets full, it'll overflow out, it'll come out the overflow. And that's the inlet right there. And we got just a trickle of water coming into that. We usually, I've calculated it up, we usually get about 2 to 2.5 gallons of water per minute coming out of the spring. And as you can see, that is not anywhere near 2 or 2.5 gallons of water per minute. So let's go up the spring box, see what's happening, or up to the spring and see what's happening up there. All right, so this is the spring under this piece of tin right here. I'll show you what that looks like. Walk around here. And we'll open this up and look in here in a minute. Oh. But this is our spring. We'll take the lid off. And what we've noticed is we have plenty of water coming out the overflow tube. So there's water in the spring, but the water is not making it down to the sediment trap and then down to the reservoir box. So we've got a stopped up pipe or something somewhere. Let me lift the lid on this thing and show you how this deal works. All right, so the way this thing works is underneath this rock, this is river rock that we put on top. Underneath this rock, water literally bubbles up out of the ground. There's a big stone right here and the water just bubbles up through that. It's called a spring. This is a true off-grid water source. Now, we're sort of a hybrid in that we've got water coming from off-grid. We're not using any kind of electricity to bring water to the surface. It already comes to the surface. We just collect it in a reservoir box. Then we apply a pump so we have pressure on the water at the house. So it's not true off-grid. It's sort of a hybrid. But what we done, this was messed up. It was not working. So we tore out the front of this. I bought this plastic spring dam from some folks down in Columbus, North Carolina. I'll see if I can find a link to their website and post it in the description. Put this spring dam in, packed it full of clay, applied the rock, and this spring dam has an outlet. This is the overflow. The spring dam has an outlet that's down underground that runs into, this is the line, you can see the line right there, runs into that line which goes down to the sediment trap in the reservoir box. So we've got water in the spring because it's coming out of the overflow. The question is, where's the line stopped up? That's going to be what we got to figure out, is finding why we have a clogged line. So let's go get some tools. I'll show you what I think I need to use to work on this, and we'll dig into it and see what happens. All right, here's what we're going to take with us to see if we can get this repaired. I've got a utility knife, ratchet with a couple of different sockets on it to adjust on our pipe clamps, flat Phillips screwdriver, a couple of channel locks. We've got a propane torch with a striker, a couple of 3/4 inch double male barbs, and some clamps. This should be all we need once we find it, but we got to find it. So let's go see if we can figure out where the stop up is at. All right, so this is our first joint right here, and it looks like when we put this together we spliced a piece in. So I'm going to take one of these apart and see if we've got water at least coming to here, and that'll tell us whether we're going that way to work or that way to work.
Let me go that way.
We've got water to here, so we know that we've got a blockage somewhere down the line. All right, we come down the pipe a little bit, and this is our next joint. So I got to thinking, if we don't have water here, probably what I'll do is go back upstream and undo the last one, and we'll blow through it. We'll get the air compressor and see if we can't blow through it or figure out some way to put some kind of pressure on it and clear it out. So we're going to take this one apart. There is no joint between here and the last one. Everything's underground. Some of this runs above ground on top of the creek, on top of this little branch that's coming down way out of the holler back up there. So we're going to take them apart here and see what we got. Sorry. All right, we're going to mess it up right there at the point we can't get it fixed back. We have to cut it or something. Okay, I don't want to cut it, but let's cut it. There's a utility knife in there.
There's your knife.
Should have got that other pair of cutters I got down at the house. Yeah, we got water here. Okay. Well, let's see. I'll have to cut this off.
Now it's flowing a whole lot more better. I wonder if, like you said, it just didn't have some kind of weird funky airlock.
Put that in there. That's the way it's supposed to run right there.
I bet that's what it was. I bet.
All right, can you kind of hold this together for me for just a second?
Yep.
Let me go down here and see if we're getting any flow down yonder. Just for fun, decided to walk down and look. So we cut that apart, and Newman's kind of holding it together. Just for fun, come down to check it, and it must have had some kind of funky airlock or something in it. See, it's even above the outlet tube going down to the reservoir box. And it is absolutely pouring into there now. So we're going to go back, we'll reattach that, fix it back like it was, and give it a few minutes, check our overflow down at the reservoir box and see if we're still good to go. All right, we're going to repair this joint, and I think we're going to be good to go here. All right. Look at that, man. That's good. That's gorgeous. I mean, That requires no electricity whatsoever to get that like that. That's
Gravity.
amazing. It's just, yeah, that's gravity. Yeah. And in order to get pressure to the, now one thing, we've probably got a backup. We probably had a backup in the spring.
Probably.
And so that may be why we're getting this amount of water right now. But even then.
Gorgeous.
All right, can you fire that thing up?
Sure.
I want you to heat. Let's see. Have we got enough?
Yeah, I think it'll.
I want to make sure we got enough. Okay, we got enough. All right, heat my white plastic up right there. And go up the, there you go. Go upstream on a little bit there. There you go. Heat it up there. As soon as we hit this water, it's going to get cold again. That softens it, makes it a little easier. All right, let's go for it. All right. Got your socket.
Yep.
And your ratchet. We're sucking right there, Newman.
Yeah, that's.
I wonder if that's.
Maggie.
All right. Let's go down here and check. All right. Let's see if we're still flowing.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're real good. All right, now let's go check the overflow at the reservoir box. Got a cricket in there, Newman. I got it.
Like old Jiminy.
Old Jiminy. So here's the overflow, but I don't think this is entirely accurate because we had a buildup back up in the spring where it was running out of the overflow. So I'm going to give this a few minutes to settle down, and then we'll check and see exactly what our per gallon minute flow is coming out of that spring. Because once the reservoir box, once it gets full, anything that's extra that's coming out of the spring goes into a overflow tube that comes out and flows right here. So once this kind of settles down, another reservoir box is full, once this settles down, then we can measure how much water is coming out of here, and that will tell us exactly what our gallons per minute coming out of the spring is. And that's really sort of the key number, is how much water is coming out of that spring up there. So we'll let this settle, and then we'll catch a number and see how much is coming out. So the sediment tank is kind of settled in. This is about what I normally see on overflow. So we're going to take a quart jar. We're going to time how long it takes to fill a quart jar, multiply that by 4, and then we will divide 60 by that number, and that should give us how many gallons per minute we're getting. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, start. Stop.
We're at 10.76.
Okay, that's all right. 10.76. All right, so we're going to take, oh, my calculator. Turn my calculator on there, Newman. All right, so we're going to take 10.76, multiply that by 4. So that's 43. So it takes 43 seconds to get a gallon of water. So if we take 60, divide that by 43, we're getting 1.4 gallons per minute. So 1.4 gallons per minute out of that spring. Now, at one time we were getting about 2.5, not far off, but we've been really dry. We've not had any appreciable rain in about a month to 6 weeks. So with it being as dry as it is and still getting 1.7 gallons a minute, I can tolerate that. So I done some figuring. This is I think this is a 750 gallon reservoir tank. So it takes right at, if this were empty, cold stone empty, it would take about 9 hours to fill this tank out of that spring based on the 1.7 gallons per minute. About 9 hours. Now, it's just me and Sandra. We wash dishes, we take baths, and we wash a couple of loads of clothes a week. So it's not like we run through a whole lot of water. And I've got a group of pigs up here on top of the hill right now. They're the only animals that are on water. So we're in good shape. This is a great system. Works out really good. All right, that is a beautiful sight and a beautiful sound. What kind of water system are you guys on? Leave me a comment down below. Are you on a municipal system? Are you on a well? Are you on a spring? Or some other type of maybe rain catchment with a cistern or something like that? Let me know what kind of water system you guys have got. But I think it's important, this sort of brings into focus, you need to be able to diagnose and fix a problem whenever you've not got water. I mean, this is the lifeblood of all civilization, is to be able to have water. Around here, we've got plenty of water. It's just getting it in a pipe and getting it where we want it, when we want it there. That seems to be the challenge. Last year, we spent, I bet about 2 weeks reworking this whole system, trying to diagnose a problem, rerouting some lines, buying some parts and pieces, and getting the whole thing figured out. But I think we got a pretty stable system now. Lucky that this was only an airlock. The way that thing's set up, it would be daggone near impossible for something to get into it to stop it up. So an airlock is the only thing that we can figure out. And like you can see, man, she's running like a champ now. So I think that's going to do it. Like we always say, please keep us in your prayers. May God bless you and your families, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.